Dusty, snap out of it!
Any of this look familiar?
Our constellation contact is on approach.
Yeah, but come on. Exploring space? Who does that anymore? Ain't the space we've already got complicated enough?
Welcome aboard the Starfield Report podcast. Sir Walter Stroud has a quest for us now. Apparently, he needs us to help design a new ship.
Welcome back, Captains, to the Starfield Report. I'm your host, Kenneth Smyson, and with me is Jax Wiley. How you doing, Jax?
Doing great. Welcome aboard, everyone. Glad to see you here.
It's always another fun day flying around space and getting into all kinds of shenanigans. Now, this week, the homework for you guys was going to be doing the main quest, missions 6 through 11, or no, 7 through 11, ending with high price to pay. However, you guys all get a 2-week extension on your homework there because neither of us were able to get through all of those quests. We did the Overdesigned quest, though, so we'll talk about Overdesigned and also do some mod talk. And so it's going to be a little shorter episode today, but still going to be a fun time. So first up, we're going to go ahead and do some mod talk here. So our first mod we're going to talk about today is Jax's choice, and go ahead and tell us about it, Jax.
All right, today I'm going to talk about a mod by Shadedness. It's called Shades Immersive Looting, and it gives you the ability to completely loot your adversaries when you take somebody out, or if they're sleeping and you want to pick their pocket. It gives you the ability to take not just the stuff in their inventory, but the clothes they're wearing, the weapons they're using, and their spacesuits. So it gives you it gives you the ability. For me, it gives me the ability to come across outfits that you can't normally come across very easily, like some of the UC uniforms, or some of the maybe the Spacers uniforms or ecliptic spacesuits that you can't get until later on in the game. Makes it a little easier to come by some of that stuff. I just like it because often you see somebody that you're fighting against, and you're like, man, I sure would like to have that armor, just because it looks cool, not necessarily because it's better than yours, but you're looking for a certain aesthetic of an outfit that somebody's wearing or something. And so this gives you that ability to be able to loot that stuff off of people rather than just what's in their inventory. It gives you everything that they have. So I found it it's pretty handy. It's easy to use. Doesn't seem to have any kind of conflicts with anything I use. I'm probably running on Xbox. I'm running 40 mods or so. So for Xbox, that's quite a good. That's quite a bit. And I guess just out of luck, I don't have very many conflicts or crashes or anything out of the ordinary, and this one just seems to work fine. Yeah, that's about all I have to say about that one. Pretty quick one this week.
Yeah, it's a pretty straightforward mod, and it takes me back to the Oblivion days where, in that one, whatever they were wearing when they fell to the ground, you could take it off them and is in your inventory, and you would basically strip them down to their skivvies. And so
I don't understand why Bethesda would change that, because if it was like that in Oblivion, and then they come out with Skyrim and somebody makes that mod for Skyrim, because that's where I recognize this one is from a mod I had in Skyrim that does that. And then Fallout 4, they have a mod that does that. Mm-hmm. You would think that the development team would pick up on that and go, oh, our players like this feature, and just bake it into the game.
Yeah, you think they would have. Because to a certain extent, they would have had to write new coding or maybe when they were copying it over, or they just didn't copy it. I don't know. It's slightly frustrating, but it's good that the modder community can bring that feature back, because that can be
That's
very
where
frustrating when you're looting bodies. And for me, they almost always have the same weapon, but the outfit or the armor, the spacesuits, I should say. Uh, yeah, the spacesuits are. You can pretty much get any of those spacesuits anywhere in the game. Some are a little harder to find, um, but the outfits can be very unique. Like we were talking just before the show, the captain suit outfit. The first time I came across that one, and so I think it's kind of like a greenish and brown. I'll have to find it and put a picture of it up here. But that one I pretty sure got on the Crimson Fleet quest when you're the Legacy, when you're actually on the Legacy quest. That's where I believe that outfit is, and I love that one. But it's very difficult to find, and it's buried in a quest basically.
Gotcha. It's another nice thing about it is if you combine this looting, uh, shades immersive looting, along with something that allows you to upgrade your clothing, then you can actually tailor the clothing you want. You can get the outfit you want.
Okay.
You can upgrade it with some armor stats. You can give it some legendary effects that allow you to sneak better or allow you to, whatever it might be, whatever the effect might be. And you can put that on your clothing, and then you can really customize your character the way you want it, wearing the stuff, looking the way you want, but still have the protection that you want. A lot of times you have to make that choice. Do I want this level of atmospheric protection, or do I want to look good? But now with mods, you're able to do both. Able to have it the way, have your cake and eat it too, per se, I guess.
Yeah, I still have not downloaded Darkstar's equipment mod, but I'm looking forward to doing that so I can start adding some effects to my clothes, my outfits.
Yeah. The Dark Star mod does allow you to do that. There's
Mhm.
also mods that are just separately. If you don't want to do the whole Dark Star thing, you can do individual mods that allow crafting for uh, apparel.
Okay.
Yeah,
I can,
we were talking like we were saying before about the captain's outfit, and I guess we're talking about two different ones because I'm wearing what's called the red pirate captain gear, and it's
oh,
a long trench, black long trench with shoulder bolsters and like red accents, Crimson Fleet red accents all over it, um, and like a gold belt. But this one's just kind of it's a duster kind of outfit. Looks pretty cool.
so the mod I chose this week is rotated bays, and just like last week where I did the better ship part flips, I chose this one because it's a very simple mod, and for you shipbuilders out there, it's going to be a lot of fun. Now, there's multiple people I have now noticed that have uploaded this one. At the time I found it, Cerberus, King of Rage, was the original uploader to my knowledge. In any event, it allows you to take the three bigger bays, the Nova Galactic, Deimos, and Hope Tech, and turn them sideways. And in fact, churn. So the Deimos you can flip to be rear facing, but the Nova Galactic and the Hope Tech you could not. But now you can with it. So you can have it flip both ways sideways and also backwards, which on the Hope Tech was very important for me because do you remember the ship I built that looked kind of like a big rig, where it had the reactor and the grav drive up front?
Yep.
So with that ship design, what I wanted was the Hope Tech cockpit up top with
Mhm.
the computer core right below that. Give me plus one of my crew because it was a Class B ship, so it wasn't a big ship, so I didn't want a huge crew. And then, but then because I couldn't flip that Hope Tech one around, which I needed to do because the attachment points on the sides for the landing gear, I had to use
Yeah.
the Teo on the back and then put a 1x1, which
Okay.
meant when I left my cockpit, I'd usually fall 2 stories, then have to jump back up one, into my my crew deck, and so that was really frustrating. And so as soon as I saw that mod, even though that character had been through the Unity and I didn't even technically have that ship, I had to go onto an old save and put it on the ship with the proper Hope Tech one that I wanted on there. Flip that thing around backwards. It was so beautiful because then I could just walk right in, or deep into the bay, go up, and not have to worry about falling down a 2-3 story ladder.
Yeah. Yeah. There's quite a few things I'd like to start experimenting with, a lot of the new mods and the different ship ramps and elevators, and man, there's so much stuff.
Yeah. Well, especially with the Deimos one, how you can. So the slope of that Deimos one, there's structure pieces in the Deimos ship parts that are the same as the landing bay with that same exact slope. So if you have the landing bay up front or in the back, you can have this nice keel that's just it's symmetrical from front to back, depending on if you have the bay up front or back. It doesn't matter. But now, if you put that sideways and you put the structure piece on the opposite side, then you can pull off a decent Millennium Falcon because the bays or the ramp is on one side, so now you have a symmetrical look to it. Whereas most of the time, people would have to use the Stroud Eklund. They were kind of forced to do that one, but now they have the option to do the Deimos one because because the Stroud Eklund, there is the structure piece that looks the same as the bay when the bay is closed. All right, and now we're going to be talking about our mission today, which was Overdesigned. Now, this mission you can only do once you've completed mission 6, and it's the first time you come across the Starborn ship as you're leaving Neon City after helping Walter Stroud on Neon deal with the whole Slight and Aerospace thing and get the other artifact. Now, Overdesigned is an optional quest, and it was a little more involved than I remembered because it's been well over a year since I've even done it because I haven't bothered doing any other characters. And so Walter Stroud sends you to Neon City to talk to his little creative design board, and it seems that like a lot of them aren't too happy that you're there because you're just kind of a new person that he threw into the mix. And depending on your choices, you'll either get the Kepler R, which is the larger ship, or the Kepler S, which is the smaller one, Class C and Class B, respectively. Which ship did you do on this playthrough? And compared to how other times you've done it, oh, that's right, you said you hadn't actually done it this time. But typically, which
several times though, so I have experience with it. I've done this quest several times, so I have experience with this quest.
Okay,
so I'm not just talking at the side of my head. At least I have some experience. I can remember it pretty good. So,
which ship do you usually like to take?
Well, the first time, picked the R. It's the bigger ship, and and it's gonna have everything on it. And once it was done, it was like, okay, so I made a Winnebago. It's not that good. It's not that fast. It's not that strong. It's just big and bulky and cumbersome. So every time after, I've done the S for the smaller ship because I like the shape of the ship. It's more along my aesthetics of when I design a ship. They typically follow that same Y-wing fighter type of design with a long fuselage and a couple of wings and the engines on the outboard. And that's my typical ship design. That's the way I make my ships. You want to call it looking like a dragon or a Y-wing or whatever. That's typically the way I make my ships, whether I make them really slender or I stack them and have them deeper and broader. But that's the typical design. So I like the Kepler S because the form factor starts out exactly where I want it. Makes it real easy to start manipulating it and updating it, upgrading it. And I usually will call it something like the Kepler RX Experimental.
Okay.
And that'll be the title of the ship after I'm done with it. Something to Kepler Experimental, Kepler X, something like that.
Yeah.
But I like.
So this, so I've done this mission twice now. The first time my main character, did the Kepler R. And I wanted to do it because I just wanted a big ship. And this time I did the Kepler S because I've not done it before. I didn't even really know what it looked like. I knew it was a Class B and definitely smaller and about half the amount of habs. But it definitely is. I agree with you. It's kind of more the size that I prefer. I do like having a couple of the big ships, but I do kind of like the mid range ships for most of my actual playthrough, just because it can be a little more zippy flying around space, and you can make them look pretty sleek. But I think in general, if I were to choose going forward, anytime I do that quest, I'm probably going to go with the Kepler R. And I would say this for newer players or newer characters in particular, because if you're going through the main quest at a fairly steady clip, you probably won't have enough credits to build a Class C ship just because the reactor and the grav drives are so expensive. Now, you can throw a Class A or B grav drive on a Class C ship because really the reactor is really your foundation for what class of ship it's going to be, correct? So I would almost recommend new players to always go with a Class R, because then when you start to build a Class C ship, you at least have a grav drive and reactor and a few Class C weapons you can put on. You can get the structure and the body of your ship built out, and then just upgrade the reactor, grav drive, and weapons later down the road once you have some more credits.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion as far as being able to get more for your buck, more bang for your buck. It really gives you a lot of extra components that you may not have had access to, but you can actually use them because you have them.
Yep. Because I built my this new character. I built his ship. I just remodeled the Frontier. So pretty much everything now is completely different on the ship. I reused the reactor and grav drive temporarily, I believe, but now it's a completely new ship. Well, I'm only sitting at around 50, maybe 60,000 credits when I did this quest, and so that just shows like you're not going to be there. Not only that, I forgot to upgrade my piloting skill as I've been playing, so I can't even fly the Kepler S yet, even though it's a Class B. So
Yeah.
which was a funny thing because on my first character, I did the same thing when I went with the Kepler R. By then, I was in Class B ships, so I just had to fly around, destroy some ships, rank that up, and that was good. But both of the ships, the Kepler R and S, I I like the overall design of them, but there's just some details I noticed. For example, on the Kepler S, that you like, the one engine in the back, it's the flat kind of more rectangular shaped engine. It's mounted on a cargo module, straight on the back of the cargo module. And then likewise on the Kepler R, some of the big Hope Tech landing gear on the side is mounted on a cargo module. And my engineering brain just is like, what? Like, that makes no sense whatsoever. That was rather laughable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, when I was doing the quest, you get the chance to talk to all 5 of the board members to find out just kind of what they're bringing to the table. Like, so there's the one guy, the main kind of snooty guy. He wants a luxurious ship. The one gal, she was thinking more of like a camping style ship, more passenger capacity, essentially. And then there's the engineer guy, and then which I don't think he had a preference to. Oh no, he wanted more of a cargo style ship. And then the one gal, the last gal, she wanted the scientific more. Now, so I kind of chose a middle of the road option and conversation with them, where I was telling them like, "Hey, make your pitch better," etc. Then I chose the compromise. Everybody has to do a compromise, and so what I thought is, maybe depending on how that conversation goes with those people, maybe you are a person that wants more cargo. That maybe you would, whichever Kepler RS you do, that would affect the habs inside of it, as well as maybe cargo capacity. But apparently it does not. So all of that conversation has no effect, which is really disappointing because
Fluff.
it's just conversation and the quest, just like you just said, fluff. And it would be really cool if they were to have different iterations of the Kepler S, where if you're talking to the one gal that wants more passenger space, you have more. Well, because when you get it, let's see, you've got the control room, the captain's quarters on the back right, the living quarters on the back left, and then downstairs is the all-in-one berth, if I remember right. Well, let's say you're talking to the gal that wants this more scientific ship. Well, then maybe the living quarters is the science lab, right?
Yeah.
It wouldn't even have to change the design of the ship. It's just a different hab.
Yeah.
So
and I wonder if since I don't mod, I don't really know how difficult it would be to go and change a quest like this. And maybe you wouldn't want to tinker with that or not, maybe,
Mhm.
But it would have been nice, like you're saying, if they'd have added that in there. Because they give you all of those options to talk with all those people, and you could agree with some and disagree with others, and really the conversation, like you said, leads you to believe that you're making decisions on the design of this ship. Like you said, maybe we want it for a little bit more of a military application or a scientific application or a cargo or people hauler. And all of those are very simple changes that could be made. Turn it into give it more cargo, give it more passenger space, give it more armor and higher weapons and a computer core instead of sleeping arrangements.
Mhm.
So yeah, it doesn't. It just seems like a missed opportunity. I don't know how difficult all that would be,
Yeah,
but it's
that would be interesting, like altering what's essentially part of the main quest. But I mean, you could easily also just do it as its own new side quest. So you don't even have any NPCs. Maybe there's like a computer console you come up to and you interact with that. Like maybe there's an automated ship manufacturing plant that you discover. And so like the mod could literally take one of the procedurally drawn bases. Like, some of them are always exactly the same. And so it's inhabited by pirates. You clean out the pirates, you go to the console at the very end, and then it allows you to go through a dialogue tree where the computer system doesn't realize that, you're not the engineer of the company, and it's, been overrun by pirates for many years or whatever. And then you get to it spits out whatever kind of ship you want, and maybe it's a one-time thing, per Unity, I guess, per universe, right? You don't get to go back there and get multiple ships, but at least one. That would be pretty cool, because then as the modder, they can put 3 or 4 different types of ships in there that are their
right.
own personally built ships. Which that's what I need to do. I need to figure out how to make ships and with the creation kit and put them on Nexus, because I'm starting to see a lot more ships where people have mods up there.
Yeah, and I agree. I still want somebody to make a mod to where you can save your design in one universe, and then when you go through the Unity, maybe there's a special quest that you go to dig up designs, or there's that one trader, the Unity trader guy, the mysterious trader that's actually a Starborn. Maybe you go to them and you're able to access old designs from different universes through that one particular trader only.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So then it kind of still fits into the lore, because it's not your ships all over this new universe, but this one guy goes, "Oh yeah, by the way, did you like that ship in the last universe you were in? I got plans for it. Would you like to build it again?" That'd be awesome. Yeah, let's do that.
Well, I mean, if somebody were to make that mod, they could actually just have fun with it and use your old save files to use some of your old ships to populate. Like, imagine if all of the United Colonies Navy ships are one of the ships. Like, you pop through the Unity, just kind of like there's the random universes with wacky stuff. You pop through the Unity, and every UC Vanguard ship is one of your ships from a previous universe. Like a Starborn happened to go in there, see your design file, and That'd be fun.
Yeah. There is a mod right now that you can do, and it'll populate all of the universe with a bunch. It adds like 8 or 12 different new ship designs, and they're adding to that, always adding to that a little bit. I think you can actually pick up single ships at a time, and if you put it in the right load order in your mod list, it'll add that to the universe's uh you know list of ships that it's available.
So if are you talking about updating that specific mod, or if you install new mods that are just a one-off ship, it
Yeah,
knows
there's
to use those ships? And okay,
what I'm talking about. Yeah, the initial mod adds like 8 ships,
okay,
right? Then if you're using, I think it's the ship framework mod, then as long as you add those new custom ships from mods below that, and below the mod that adds all the 4, 5, 6 different ships, if you add the individual ships, then they'll start to populate through the universe, through the settled systems and whatnot. So you'll see the UC using some of these. You're like, I don't remember that ship being in the core game. It's because it's using one of these custom ships. And so the more of these custom ships you put into your mod list, the more you'll start seeing out in the universe, which is kind of cool. It gives you a little bit of diversity.
the thought just occurred to me. It would be a really cool mod to. It'd be like a little side mission way to make money. Is you can go to, and it could be like a what do they call those quests, or like a radiant quest, so you can go
Mhm.
back and do it multiple times, maybe, or maybe it's just one time per ship manufacturer. But let's say you go to a manufacturer and they're like, hey, we want you to build a ship. And there's select, they have their select parts. So, like, if you go to Stroud Eklund, you only can have Stroud Eklund cockpit tabs. And maybe they actually challenge you where, like, they say, okay, you need to use this specific cockpit. So when you go in, it's a shipbuilder you access by talking to that person, not the normal ship tech. So then maybe
Mhm.
they'll just restrict you with certain things. So, but then you get the chance to build a new ship,
Yeah.
and then and probably not let you get it for free because depending on the size of the ship, I guess. Or maybe they each one could do like a class A, class B, and class C. So once you do one of each, then you're done. That way you can start with a smaller one and work your way up. But then that ship is then out there in the
Right.
universe, or it's available for sale at their vendor.
Yeah, they could just give you a straight up, you know, designer's fee. Here you go. You build,
Mhm.
part of the quest, you build the ship, and they're like, okay, thanks for building that ship for us. We now add that to our inventory list of ships we can build. Here's your 2,500 credits. Thanks. Have a nice day. But now you can
Yeah.
go and buy that ship from them,
Hmm.
and it's, 89,000 credits or whatever.
Yeah.
But at least it's another option. But
Yeah.
if you've ever looked at the list of all the ships that have the in the game, both of us use that Anara um,
Oh, that.
website,
Mhm.
uh, app, and you can just bring up the list of ships, and there is a ton. Of course, you got the Autobahn 1, the Autobahn 2, the Autobahn 3. You got the 1, the 2, the 3. So it's tripled, but there's still, I don't know, 30 different ships.
Yeah.
There's still a pretty good amount of different ships in there. A lot of them are ships I would never use.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of them are pretty silly looking.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, the designers, I guess, that, they were said, okay, I need you to make 10 different cargo ships. And then, okay. And the first couple, they really got their heart into it. And then finally, they're like, all right, just got to get this done here. We'll block this on, put this on. Okay, there's another one.
Well, see, that's why for Starfield 2, what they need to do is they need to find podcasters that like shipbuilding and contact them and say, hey, do you guys want? I would do that for free. If they
Right?
gave me access to Starfield 2, now that we're talking probably realistically 20 years from now, if they gave me access to just the shipbuilder, so I knew nothing else about the game, but I got to just make ships,
Yeah.
for each of the different manufacturers and stuff, that would be so much fun. I would do that for free. I would almost no, I wouldn't pay them. I wouldn't pay them, but I would do it
Oh,
for
no.
free. I would do it for free.
Well, and just to have your name attached and get some notoriety that, I'm not talking about fame, but if it's a career path that you're looking into, that's what a lot of these modders are doing this for. Is just something to add to their resume and go, look, I did this and this and this. I would like to work for you. Here's an example of some of my work.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's what a lot of them are doing. A lot of them are developers on other games and other studios, and they're just doing it for fun.
I didn't really think about that,
Yeah.
but yeah, I can see that.
What I need to start doing, and I did it for one modder so far. I need to start donating money to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm trying to remember what modder I paid, but I need to start doing something. So for like, well, I don't know if you can do it on Xbox in the mods menu there, but on the Nexus website, even though you're downloading the mods on Xbox, you could have your Nexus account and donate money to the modders there.
Yeah, let me look. I don't believe you can. You got your pay, and I think that's why all of these modders, there's been such an influx of paid mods on the creation list because it's either is or isn't.
That
Right?
makes sense.
The
Yeah.
only way to, right. The only way to make your mod lore friendly and not to disable what do they call
Achievements.
yeah, is to make it a paid mod. So if you want it to be achievement friendly, it's got to be a paid mod.
Yeah.
Now, and then I read a lot of the comments for these mods on Xbox, and a lot of them, these guys are like, okay, well, I'm done modding on Xbox because of the way creation has made this a complete pay to play modding community, and they're just fed up. They don't want to do it. It's like, okay, well, this is it. I'm not updating this. That's all you get. We're done. See ya. And a lot of these guys are not going to do their mods anymore. It's sad.
Well, does
But
Creation Kit force you to make it a paid mod?
if you want it to be lore friendly and have the little blue check mark, yes.
Oh, okay. Which then probably gives you better exposure on the mod. Okay.
Yeah. But it's, and then, of course, Bethesda takes a cut of whatever
Mm-hmm.
is paid to that mod. So Bethesda's getting paid, but they're saying that, in order to keep the Creations Club page staffed and people looking at your mod and distinguishing, or, going through your mod before we call it certified, they have to have staff. Bethesda has to have staff looking at that stuff. So they've got to get that revenue to pay that staff somehow. And that's why that's their excuse of why they're charging, why they make you turn it into a paid mod, because somebody at Bethesda has to review the mod and make sure that it's okay and everything's going to work fine before they call it a certified mod.
That makes sense. And I get where the modders are coming from, but
you can see both sides. Very easily see both sides.
But yeah, they can still put it up as an unpaid mod, not certified. So it's still there for the players to enjoy.
And that's what a lot of the guys are saying, is just put it up as a free mod.
Yeah.
A certified free mod.
Yeah.
But then Bethesda says, well, there's no revenue in that. We can't pay our staff. Okay, I understand that. But I think since I don't do it, I don't know how turning it into a paid mod, making your mod a paid mod. I mean, why can't you just say, okay, it's 100 creation credits instead of some of these are $5, $6, $7. That's 5, 6, 700 credits. 100 credits. A lot of people would pay $1 for a mod.
Yeah.
Pretty. You know what I mean? You start getting $5 or $6, and you're like, okay, 4 mods, and I've already paid for the game, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've paid for a month of Game Pass, or it's like, man, it gets expensive quick at $5, $6, $7 a pop.
Oh,
Three.
the official Bethesda made ones.
Yeah.
Those are
Uh-huh.
going to be, yeah, the Bethesda Creation Club mods are probably going to always be the most pricey. But I imagine you would think those ones would have some voice acting with them or be certainly more advanced. You know, I I wouldn't pay $5 for a mod unless there's at least one quest, some good loot, and some voice acting or something. Um,
Yeah.
but then I wouldn't. It's weird. I would almost not pay for that if I was forced to pay for it to get it. However, I'll freely give $5 to a mod author.
Right.
So it's kind of funny. It's almost like just because they're making you, I'm like, no, I don't want to do it.
Right. Just to be obstinate.
Yep, my little stubborn
Very.
streak.
Yeah. Well,
Yep, there's
it's
so much we can talk about this game. I just didn't get enough time to play the last couple weeks. It was so sad.
just been
But
so hectic and just so much going on.
yeah.
And it seems like every time I sit down, I'm worn out, and I sit down to play, and about the time I get relaxed and settled in, I start to fall asleep while I'm playing. It's like, bed, and so I don't get nothing done.
All right. Well, this episode was fun talking about just a little more shipbuilding. Those are always going to, I think, be my favorite episodes where we just get lost in the shipbuilding conversations because that's what's going
And
to
I
keep
think
me coming back to this game for years.
that's our both of us is the passion. And when I go to play, that's the one thing I'm trying to get to a point. I just want to get to the point where I can build a ship. I'm trying to get there, and that's what's been driving me on this this new character, is to get all of my shipbuilding stuff to a point where I've unlocked the stuff. And I think the highest level you have to be is in the 60s somewhere. Is that right?
Level 60. Once you hit, there's oh goodness, or at least one reactor and at least one grav drive that are level 60. I think weapons and shields are all the highest might be somewhere in the 50s. But it's one reactor and at least one reactor and one grav drive.
I think the Dark Star even levels that up even further for some of his stuff.
Okay.
75 or so. I'd have to look at he gives you a data slate
Okay.
when you get the mod, and you can look through the data slate, and it'll tell you everything that's you have to level up for these and level up to this for this.
Okay.
So I have to look through that, but I think I need to be up around 75 to have everything unlocked for me.
Gotcha. Yeah, I still have to do his mod, and I'm kind of torn because one idea I had was take my main character who's going to go through the Unity multiple times, take him, and on a fresh start in the Unity, tell the Constellation, hey, I'm Starborn, right? So that way you skip the main quest, but then have my quest of that particular universe just be mastering the Dark Star stuff. But
Right.
I'll already be level 80 or 90, so I'm going to have quick access to a lot of stuff, I imagine, in his mod because I'm high level. So
If you don't have a limitless resource mod, then that's going to be where you're going to spend all your time. You're going to be going to a planet and mining tantalum, mining gold, mining, titanium or argon or whatever, in order to get. I just need 5 to get this to the next level. I need 6 of these to get it to, or money and go buy it from a vendor. But a lot of your time is going to be spent gathering up the resources in order to level up the research.
Okay.
That's where time comes in.
So the resource gathering throttles your growth in that mod then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So because the other idea I had would whenever I do start a new character, which I'm going to do to go through the Ryesian quest line because I still have not done that one.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking on her on like an assassin female character. I was going to have her start from level 1 going through the Dark Star, so that way I experience that from a low level.
Yep.
But if I'm going to be throttled anyways due to resource collection, I might as well just go with my original idea of taking my main character through it. Because when you go through the Unity, you have your ship. That's it. So money and resources, that's just going to take time to acquire. So, and I'll play it straight. I'm not going to do any mods that help me out. I'll just just
The
grind it like the old fashioned way.
yeah, the Dark Star Astrodynamics, when you go through the Unity, I think he throws a couple of extra things in your starborn ship in the hull in the cargo.
Okay.
Like I think he throws in an extra spacesuit and a weapon. So you don't start out newborn baby style. At least you got a little bit of something to go off of. You don't have to take your Liberator gun to go get a better gun. You know what I
Is
mean?
so
World War
is
II.
his the stuff he gives you in your new Starborn ship, is it some of his unique stuff from
No,
it?
it's
No.
just leveled up Starborn spacesuit,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Yeah. And it's just can't remember as far as the weapon goes. It's been a while since I've gone through that and done that because I've been on my original character, like his fifth trip through the Unity, and then I've been in that universe for a long, long time, just playing around, mucking around in there, building ships, and just kind of, you know, just exploring and adventuring until I started this character, and of course, this guy, he's level 58 or something, and not gone through the Unity, so I haven't experienced any of that. So it's been quite a while. I don't remember exactly what, but there is an aspect, and it's in the slate. When you put the Astrodynamics mod on, you can read through that slate, and somewhere in there, it'll tell you exactly what advantages, what happens, what you get, what's the additions, and it may even be toggleable because on there's a spot. Is it Astrodynamics for manufacturing? Astrodynamics, and you've got the new landing pad that he gives you called the Terminus, and on the Terminus, that's where you have access to all the different ship parts and modules and everything else. But there's an individual computer panel that's there that he's added that gives you access to VIP building ability, which like changes everything to cost 1 credit. Super cheat mod. I mean, it even says this is a super cheat. But yeah, there's several toggles that you can do to make it either more or less uh, cheaty.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Depending
Yeah,
on where
just
you're at.
kind of like in the gameplay settings where you can adjust your settings for your experience. So
Mhm.
it's not full on cheating, but just making the game a little easier or more difficult depending on your flavor. Okay.
And it's a single player game. Play it the way you enjoy it. He'll give you a ship. The first time you go through the Unity, you can get his custom ship, and that's on that separate panel. You can have the ship given to you. You can wait till you're higher level and gone through the Unity a couple more times, and you can get the Mark One or the Mark Two or the Mark Three, all the way up to like a Mark Five version of his ship. Same
Oh,
with the Starborn suits. You have he gives you a kiosk for all the Starborn equipment. So depending on your level, how many times you've been to the Unity, you have access to the very first Starborn suit leveled to you, so it's level appropriate. And as you experience more, then you have higher levels of Starborn gear that you can buy from him on
okay.
that key that's there. So it's all like like I always have said from the very beginning. It can be overpowered, but by the time you're level 150, if you're not overpowered, you're doing the game something wrong in the game because you
Yeah.
should be able to stomp everything.
Yeah, I pretty much feel almost overpowered by the time I get to level 60 on I've got two characters that cleared level 60, and by that point, even though I was focusing mainly on shipbuilding on both characters. I still just got very powerful. And one character's not even Starborn. I haven't even done the main quest. Just because I've got great gear for him. If you stick to one or two weapon types and just max those out, so you're very effective with that playstyle, then you're going to be plenty powerful.
Yeah.
Well, folks, we certainly hope you enjoyed this episode. Always fun just talking some shipbuilding, and we're going to go ahead and finish with episode or mission 7 through 11, which will be High Price to Pay. So if you have any feedback for the Overdesigned mission we did in this episode, as well as missions 7 through 11, be sure to get that feedback in to starfieldreport@gmail.com. And other than that, folks, we will see you in the Starfield.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. Remember to tell your friends and give us a like on however you're consuming our content, and share this with your friends. We'd sure appreciate it. So y'all have a great week, and we're looking forward to hearing from you.
Now that was some fine work under pressure.
Get out of here, Dusty. You're on to bigger things.